Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first of the bonus episodes of Twilight Princess. There's going to be 3 of these episodes, this one obviously, and 2 more. The next 2 are slightly different and perhaps a little dubious in their bonus content, or not, or whether well, anyway, you'll see what they are in the coming days. For now, this is, as promised, a kind of recap of the, well, just overview of the differences between Twilight Princess and Twilight Princess HD. I believe it was approximately 2 days after I announced this Let's Play originally that Twilight Princess HD was then announced. All the signs were pointed towards Twilight Princess HD coming out, so I attempted to time the release of this series to coincide with what I expected would be the timed release of Twilight Princess HD. I was pretty accurate, as I say, I was 2 days before the actual announcement, which is when I announced this series. Unfortunately, this series then didn't come out for another 2 or 3 months due to various issues that I had. But that's all sorted now, and then it came out, and hopefully, as you've seen, it was aired, and it was all good, and hopefully you enjoyed it. I'm starting to womble. Man, I said waffle and womble. No. Waffle and... what am I even thinking of saying? Waffle and ramble, that's it, my god. Anyway, still doing it. Twilight Princess HD has a series of changes, and I'm going to go through them in order. I'm going to talk about graphical changes, gameplay, amiibo, places, items, and miscellaneous changes. So first things first, the graphics. I mean, it should really go without saying, but the most obvious update with Twilight Princess HD is that it is HD. It's 1080p instead of 480p, which obviously makes sense. And this that's kind of the main thing of it. It's got the bigger resolution, but it also means a lot of the textures have been redone. Well, not redone, just kind of improved. These ones like the grass I know in Hyrule Field has been entirely redone and apparently looks very nice now. And the game is generally a bit lighter because people complain that, well, people say that Twilight Princess is the darkest Zelda, and they may or may not be accurate when it comes to plot elements, but certainly when it comes to physical visibility, it's an extremely dark game. Well, it's a weird one. It's dark, but has a lot of what we call bloom lighting, which is kind of... the Twilight Realm is full of it, where everything looks a bit fuzzy around the edges because there's too much light coming around everything. There was... I think I agree with the kind of thing that there was way the fuck too much bloom lighting in Twilight Princess, so I'm glad they got rid of it, quite frankly. So that just looks a bit kind of softer. Gameplay-wise, well... for this next comment to make sense, you kind of have to understand the basis of Twilight Princess. Twilight Princess was developed as a Gamecube game, and it was about ready to launch as a Gamecube game when the Wii was announced, so they kind of ported it onto the Wii version. This means that the Wii version is just a mirror of the Gamecube game, and I mean mirror in the very literal sense. Link, in most games, Zelda games, is left-handed. It's a fairly, like... you see it everywhere, but most people just kind of notice it. One of the games he's notably not left-handed, however, is Twilight Princess. Wii version. Because, I don't know what the logic behind it was, I assume it was, obviously you hold if you are right-handed, you hold the nunchuck in your left hand and the Wii remote in your right hand. So I guess they figured most players are right-handed, so they would basically flip Link's model around so that he's holding a sword in the right hand, so it feels right for the majority of players. I'm really not convinced that swinging a sword with my right hand and a model moving it with the left hand would really look that... would really look that weird, but maybe it's a thing. And also, weirdly enough, the only way to reverse that on Link's character model was apparently to reverse the entire game. So literally all the maps, everything pretty much apart from the HUD and kind of HUD heads-up display. I always call it HUD. Perhaps I shouldn't. Apart from the HUD and the context menus, basically everything else in the game is flipped left to right, including, as I say, the entire map, which is strange. But yeah, so that's the version Twilight Princess HD uses. It uses what I think of as the mirrored version, but it's actually the real version. See, I think of it because I had the Wii version first. I did also own the game. Well, I did own the GameCube version, but fun fact there: the GameCube version is extremely valuable. I don't know how much it sells for nowadays, but it's probably quite a lot. Because I sold mine for like 65 quid probably about 6 or 7 years ago, long before I started the YouTube channel. And when I was just essentially particularly poor. So I decided that would be... I really needed the money. Yeah, nowadays it still goes for, 70 quid used on Amazon, which is pretty impressive for a GameCube game, but GameCube games are starting to be worth a lot now, because they're actually really old, and quite rare, because GameCube discs don't last very long. Anyway, yeah, it uses the reversed version. One advantage of them having a kind of a larger resolution screen, higher resolution screen, means that you can have more space for gameplay, and because the HUD doesn't take up as much space. So the HUD as a whole is smaller, and it only uses, and the minimap has a kind of black background to it, and it's just shoved off in the corner as well. It uses kind of the similar buttons to Wind Waker HD. So you can kind of map 3 items to, I believe it's R, X, and Y. L we'll call Midna. It's quite nice, and it uses the gamepad in much the same way that Wind Waker HD does. So for maps and for inventory management, some gyroscope functionality, like you can aim the slingshot, the bow, and the Gale Boomerang around with the gyroscope. I don't know why you'd want to do that. Gyroscope aiming is hideous. The 3DS games have it, and I don't like it. But hey, each their own. Extremely useful as well, though, is on the gamepad, is a button. You just tap it. No talking to Midna or any of that bollocks. You just tap it and you'll turn into a wolf. Tap it again, you'll turn back into a human. That would be so handy to have, because the amount of times I've just spent pressing D-pad down and hammering A. Well, D-pad up even. Man, you can tell it's been a while since I recorded Twilight Princess. So that would be useful. Off-TV play, because really most Wii U games should come with that. Well, then I suppose that's the only issue. If you allow off-TV play, you're kind of acknowledging that the gamepad functionality isn't necessary, it's just an extra, but it's nice to have the option. Hero mode, which they put into every Zelda game nowadays, and I just don't get it, personally. If you don't know, hero mode is you take twice as many hearts and damage, and it's supposed to make the game harder. Technically it does, but it doesn't make it harder for me in any interesting or meaningful way. It's kind of like artificial hardness. If they'd done something like cracked the AI up or something like that, or added more enemies, or more you need to get more hits on a boss, that might potentially make it a bit more interesting, but hero mode it just feels like a really cheap way of amping up difficulty, and I'm not a fan of it. Hearts also don't appear in hero mode, so you have to use potions and stuff. It feels fake to me. I'm also told, I have no idea what this means, you can tell how much I use the social functionality of the Wii U, but apparently there are 50 Miiverse stamps that you can get from Twilight Princess. I think I remember gathering those in Mario 3D World, but that's about it. I don't know what they do. And speaking of kind of Wii U content I've never ever used and don't understand, Amiibo are featured in it. I understand exactly what Amiibo do, I just don't get them in a personal sense of, I guess I don't have the collector mindset. They don't really, for me, add a great deal of gameplay functionality, so it's like, sweet, I'm not going to pay 15, 20 quid for a small statue, which I can boot the gamepad with, and it does something I could probably do anyway. It just doesn't grab me particularly, but hey, to those of you who does, there's 4, well, technically 6 Amiibo that interact with Twilight Princess HD. The Link or the Toon Link one, if you tap it to the gamepad, replenishes all your arrows. The Zelda or the Sheik ones will replenish all of your hearts. The Ganondorf one will mean you take twice as much damage. So yes, in case you're wondering, if you combine that with hero mode, you will take 4 hearts instead of 1 every time you're hit. Apparently that's fun. Who knows? Every Amiibo can only be used once per day. But the more important one is Wolf Link Amiibo. Tap that to your gamepad and you get access to the Cave of Shadows, which is probably the single biggest chunk of new content added to Twilight Princess HD. It's got 40 floors, and it's kind of like the Cave of Ordeals. You've just got to defeat each enemy on the floor to move down. For some god-awful reason, you are confined to only being Wolf Link in it. I bitch throughout the series constantly about how Wolf Link combat is uninteresting to me, and they made a whole dungeon out of it. But hey, well, each their own, I suppose. The advantage of it is if you get to the bottom of it, if you already have the giant wallet, the one you get from getting all the bugs for Agatha, if you already have that when you get to the bottom of the Cave of Shadows, you get the colossal wallet, which lets you hold 9,999 rupees, which is pretty handy. Though, as I kind of showed, you don't really have to go out of your way that far to pretty much have a full wallet for the whole game and use the magic armor pretty much with impunity, so I guess that 9,999 isn't really needed, but hey, handy to have. I'm also told that the Wolf Link Amiibo will have some functionality in Breath of the Wild. It'll like summon Wolf Link as a companion in that, which would be kind of cool when it does come out. I am vaguely excited for Breath of the Wild, but I mean, that's not really. This isn't the video to talk about that, Doctor. A few more things. Some places have changed. Apparently, now this is a weird one. The little like creek bit in Ordon Village where the baby basket is taken originally by the monkey. Apparently, that's walled off now. Apparently, that was a big change that needed to be made. Oh. Police are coming. But yes, the heatwave effect in Goron Mines has been removed. Don't know, well, I guess it might have been a similar thing to the bloom lighting if it just looks a bit shit. But it's not there anymore. And this is a nice little touch. In Chudley's Emporium and Fine Goods, or the Machinarium, or whatever it's called. It's not Machinarium, I'm thinking of D&D stuff. But yes, there's a series of paintings there which are actually screenshots from Breath of the Wild, which is a nice little reference there. I don't know if Breath of the Wild hadn't really even been announced. Oh no, it had been revealed, just not officially announced, and then I don't think it had been named when this came out, so I guess that was kind of a bit of a tease in that way. In terms of items, if you open a chest when you've got full rupees, or not enough space in your wallet to take all the rupees. You'll just take what you can, and that will be it. None of this, but your wallet is full, so put it back stuff. I don't know if that's good or bad, really. This next change, however, extremely good. When you pick up a rupee class for the first time, it'll go blah, 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 bling, and tell you how many rupees that colour is worth. It will then never do it again for the entire rest of the game, and my god, that would have been handy for my Let's Play. It would have shaved like a couple of minutes off the overall series total. I bet you I spent that long just getting through those stupid little things every single time you turn on the game again. Ugh. Similarly to this, as I mentioned earlier, they introduced the Colossal Wallet and also changed the sizes of some of the other wallets. You still get them in the same way, so from giving 1 bug and 24 bugs to Agatha, but the standard wallet now holds 500 instead of 300, the big wallet holds 1,000 instead of 600, and the giant wallet holds 2,000 instead of 1,000. 2,000 rupees is a shit ton, and if the only improvement, you can improve on that if you go through 40 floors of bastardry as Wolflink, but honestly, I would personally be just happy with the giant wallet. Were I to Let's Play this, I'd obviously have to show off the Colossal one, but I'm not going to Let's Play this. As I say, I own this game on Wii, I used to own it on Gamecube, but sold it because I like money, and I'm not going to buy this game a third time. It's basically the same game, really. Like, granted, if you've never played Twilight Princess before, absolutely get Twilight Princess HD. I'm sure it's a much better game, but for someone who already owns Twilight Princess, I actually own 2 bloody copies of Twilight Princess due to a bizarre error where I left my copy of it in the wrong city and I needed to record, so I just had to buy another. I've spent a lot of money on various copies of Twilight Princess. I'm not doing it again, but I'm sure if you've never played it before, I would probably recommend it over the Wii or the Gamecube versions. Partly because those are ancient consoles now as well, essentially. This will make a lot of people happy, this next one. There are only 12 tiers of light per province in the Twilight Realm. Ha! I managed to not say Twilight Zone there, go me. There's only 12 tiers per province, as opposed to the 16 there are in the normal game, so it speeds up those sections a bit, so that kind of handles some of the early game pacing issues I complained about. Now, these next two are very nice. On the map screen, you'll be able to see the number of Poes remaining in each area to get. That will be incredibly handy, because the issue is if you've got 59 Poe souls and you're just looking for the last one, where the fuck is it? You just gotta find it. I have no idea how you would even start to get all the Poe souls without a guide, quite frankly. Another thing that's added in to make that even easier is the Ghost Lantern. Too spooky. You get it after you return 20 Poe souls to Giovanni, and it lights up when there's a Poe nearby, regardless of whether it's nighttime or daytime, which is very handy, because I guess the only way you'd really hunt for Poes is just running around in wolf mode at night, but the Ghost Lantern will light up in the daytime, so that's pretty nice and handy. And finally, the map also shows now locations of Horsegrass, locations of minigames, side quests, and the last time you saved. I'm not sure what's counting as a side quest, maybe it's parts of like, I guess things like the various quests for the magic armor and stuff will count as side quests, which is kind of cool. Finally, the miscellaneous category of changes. Some of these are just ones where I'm like, oh yeah, that is nice to change. Little ones like, at the beginning of the game, you fish for Sarah's cat, and you bring a fish up for it, and it just looks at you. Then you bring up another fish, and then it kind of runs off with it. That weirdly throws a lot of people, and I can understand why, actually, because you just do it once, and like, oh, well, that didn't work, you have to do it twice. Now, on the HD version, you only have to do it once, which, yeah, doesn't hurt anyone. The sword one, this annoyed me. The sword now passes through walls instead of bouncing off them. Seems stupid, but yeah, the amount of times in Twilight Princess where you're trying to fight an enemy close to the wall and you swing your sword and your sword just goes doink, because like on the far reach of his arc it hits a wall, and then you're just left open to attack. Now it just passes through walls instead, which is a bit nicer. It also leaves trails behind it. I don't know exactly what that means, but I'm sure it looks cool. Swimming and horse riding have been kind of improved in handling. I think they have a tighter turning circle and brake faster and stuff like that, which is a bit nice because both of those are handled a bit dodgily. Faster swimming and climbing, definitely would notice that one. Swimming and climbing were probably the two most frequent uses of the speeder for me in this Let's Play, so that's handy to kind of have them improved. This one, change no one asked for. Apparently lava only does half damage. Falling in lava only deals 1 heart instead of 2. Apparently that was a concern. Who knew? Another slightly weird one, Dark Hammer, the kind of lizardy looking mini-boss of the Snow Peak Ruins. His tail is now armoured. It wasn't armoured in his original version. Doesn't make any difference to the gameplay at all. You can still just hit him in the tail like you would anyway, but apparently it's armoured now. And finally, something I didn't even notice, Midna in the original version has no reflection. She does now. Awesome, I guess. So yeah, some of these changes are like, oh, that's really cool. Some of them are functionality that I don't really care about, but I'm sure it's useful to someone, and some of them are functionality that's just like, yeah, apparently you did that. But there's no bad changes made by the looks of it. There's no changes where I'm like, wow, what the fuck, I love that. I love the heatwave affecting Goron mines and stuff like that. So I guess all in all, pretty kind of decent looking thing. And it does look great. Like, I'll admit that. Stuff like, especially the detail on things like Xant's mask and just like Link generally, just like, it does look a lot nicer. So yeah, that's a little wrap up of Twilight Princess HD. As for the next bonus episode, well, I'm sneakily tacking this onto the end because it's not really bonus content, but it's not really a full game either. Does anyone remember Link's crossbow training? Yes, it was a very obscure game that used the Wii Zapper, and probably the only game that used that as far as I'm aware. And it's a tiny little mini-game, hence I'm going to devote 2 episodes to it, 2 more bonus ones. I wanted to do it because, so, it's essentially set within the world of Twilight Princess. Like, it uses the same models, the same assets, and like the same game, like, well, not gameplay, but like world concepts. You'll see what I mean when I play it, but it very much feels like it fits on the end of a Twilight Princess playthrough rather than anything like being devoted to its own series. So that's what I'll be doing in the next couple of episodes. Hope you'll join me for Link's crossbow training. Other than that, thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to vote for my next Let's Play, whether it's going to be Mass Effect 2 or Paper Mario 2 The Thousand Year Door. And thank you very much for watching this whole series. Hopefully you watched the whole Twilight Princess series. If you didn't, it's great. Much as I've been shitting on Twilight Princess and saying how much better the HD version is, my Let's Play is fantastic, of course. Big-headed bastard. Right, thank you very much, and good day.